Hey everyone! In this video today, I want to show you guys how to make this really awesome bordered chevron friendship bracelet pattern. This pattern is just a unique sort of fun twist on a regular chevron, and it is so incredibly easy to work up if you're a beginner who is familiar, maybe comfortable with all 4 of the bracelet knots, or if you are the most advanced and just wanting something fun to try out, then you will love this pattern. So for this pattern, you will need 14 strings and 7 different colors, which means you will have 2 strings of each color. So for this bracelet, I am doing a rainbow pattern, but with 2 different shades of green. If you want, you could do like 2 shades of purple or do 2 shades of pink, whatever you feel like doing. And if you want to make a threaded loop or any kind of loop at the top of your bracelet, you will measure out about 68 to 72 inches per string. But if you want to just have ties on both ends, you will measure out 36 inches per 2 strings. Now at the top of my bracelet, I decided to do something a little bit different. As you can see, I did a square knot instead of the traditional sort of threaded loop. And then I continued on doing the teardrop shape start. So with this loop, you can use it on this pattern or any sort of mirroring pattern with the teardrop shape start. If you want to make a square knot loop with a pattern that doesn't mirror like this one, then just have a square knot to tie all of your strings together, and then you can do sort of like an opened shape start kind of thing. This pattern is incredibly easy. There are only 2 steps, and one of them you do 6 times, and it is just so quick and easy and just such a fun sort of spin off of a traditional chevron. So regardless of whether or not you wanted to make a shape start, you want to order your strings from the outside to the center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if you're doing a rainbow color palette as well, this is how you would follow it, but any sort of strings you want to use, maybe even just like a monochrome ombre kind of thing, just have your colors laid out from lightest to darkest, or vice versa, 1 through 7, and then that's how you'll order it on here. We're gonna use the center here as our sort of imaginary center line, where we don't want to cross over until we join our strings. So this first step is incredibly simple. So on the very outermost left side, you are going to do a forward-backward knot onto that string to the right of it. And then you're going to put that string down, and with the second string in line, we're going to do forward knots across all of the rest of our strings to the right of it, which will be 5 strings here. Now if you're working on this bracelet without a shape start, when you're first starting this, you want to knot these strands pretty loosely so that you can form this V shape, because if not, your first few rows are just going to go like straight across, and it might get you a little frustrated, and that's why. It's because your tension's just way too tight at the start. So when you make these first few rows, try to knot a little bit more loose in this sort of V pattern. And then once you work up more of the bracelet, it'll straighten itself out the way you need it to. So on the right side, we are going to pick up our outermost right strand, and we're going to do a backward forward knot onto the string to the left of it. And then we're going to put that string off to the side, and with our second strand in line, we're going to do backward knots across all of the strings to the left of it, which will be 5 strands. And then you want to join your middle 2 strands with a forward knot. You can also do a backward knot if you want to, because the strings are the exact same color, so it really doesn't matter. And we are going to repeat that step 5 more times. So we're going to come back to our outermost left strand, and again do a forward backward knot onto the string to the right of it. And then put that string off to the side, and with our second strand in line, we are going to do forward knots across all of the rest of the 5 strings to the right of it. And then moving over to the right side, we're going to take our outermost right strand, and again, we're going to do a backward forward knot onto the string to the left of it. And then we're going to put that string off to the side, take our second strand from the right, and do backward knots across the rest of the 5 strings to the left of it. And then you want to connect your middle 2 strands with a forward knot. And now we repeat this 4 more times. So again, come back to your outermost left strand and do a forward backward knot onto the string to the right of it. Put that string off to the side, and then with our second strand in line, we are going to do forward knots across the rest of the 5 strings to the right of it. And then on the right side, take your outermost right strand and do a backward forward knot onto that string to the left of it. And then put that strand off to the side, and with our second strand in line, we are going to do backward knots across the rest of the 5 strings to the left of it. And then take your middle 2 strands, tie them together with a forward knot. And now we will repeat that 3 more times. So this first step you will do 6 times. And you can count how many you've done by not only your chevron rows, but you can count by the little bumps on the edges, because this is your forward, backward, and backward forward knots. So you can see we've done 3 together, and we'll do the rest of the 3 together, but I am going to go through it a little bit faster because I think at this point it's very self-explanatory. So we'll come back to the left side. With our outermost left strand, we'll do a forward backward knot. And then put that down. With our second strand in line, we'll do forward knots across the rest of the 5 strings to the right of it. And then we'll come over to the right side. With our outermost right strand, we'll do a backward forward knot. And then with our second strand in line, do backward knots across the rest of the 5 strings to the left of it. And now tie your middle 2 strands together with a forward knot. And let's repeat that 2 more times. Okay, I know that I am done with this step now because I ended on a row with a color that is before the one on the edge here. So we started out with color number 1, or my pink one here, and this row we ended on is my purple, which is going to be color number 7. But the most foolproof way to know when you are done with this section is to just count your rows with your one color. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bumps on both sides, which means we are done with this step, and now we only have one more thing to do. So with our second and final step to this whole pattern, we are just doing a regular chevron. So with our left and right strands, we are bringing them to the middle. On the left side, we are going to take our outermost left strand and do forward knots across the next 6 strands to the right of it to bring it to the middle. And then on the right side, take your outermost right strand and do backward knots across the next 6 strands to the left of it. And then you'll take your middle 2 strands and tie them together with a forward knot. And that is the whole pattern completed. And obviously you'll see as you work up this pattern, your color order is going to change because your borders are going to change. That's the whole point of the pattern. If you need to follow the video along again from the start of the tutorial, I'll have a chapter obviously in the description box, but just keep in mind that even though the color order is changing the whole way through, it works up exactly the same. And obviously you'll notice in the middle your chevron isn't perfectly following the rainbow order. I had tried so hard to get that to work, but it's just not possible on this pattern. So that's the only thing that kind of bugs me a little bit, but really the star of the show is your borders going in that order of your colors. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video today. I really hope this was informative and fun to follow along to. If you want to check out any of my other videos, this is my most recent one, but YouTube thinks you might like this one, so feel free to check those out. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.